Jiri Prochazka, the UFC light heavyweight, well, as of today, the former UFC light heavyweight champion. He's vacated his title. He's going to be out for a year. He's not fighting Glover. Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev is now the fight for the vacant light heavyweight world championship. And Jiri Prochazka is out for an entire year with the worst shoulder injury. And I'm doing this not to be sarcastic, but to say that it's quoted by the UFC doctors. The worst shoulder injury in the history of the UFC. What a disaster. What an absolute disaster. I was looking at the rest of December and all of the December cards, and I was looking at the UFC fight cards that are in 2023 as well, in January, February, March, and I was thinking to myself, you know what? This is going to be a great time for the UFC. And now this. Out of nowhere. And I'll be honest, we're going to go through all of the situations that have come up because there's a lot to talk about here. When I first saw the headline, and I was so glad I waited a little bit. I was going to make this video a little bit earlier. But I was like, no, let me see if just like an hour from now or half an hour from now, there's going to be some kind of statement about the reason why he's vacated his title. And I'm glad I waited. I really am glad, because otherwise I would have jumped the gun. And I would have said, USADA got him. That's what I was going to say. I was literally about to make a video. I was refreshing Full Violence, refreshing ESPN MMA, just checking everywhere, just for any kind of statement about it, because I was literally thinking to myself, Jiri's vacated his belt for no reason. After daily USADA tests over and over again, did they catch him? Did they have suspicion and reason to be testing him that much? And did they catch him on something, and that's why he's vacated his belt out of nowhere? I was really worried it was going to be a USADA issue. I'm glad I waited, because no, it's not a USADA issue. The worst shoulder injury the doctors of the UFC have seen in UFC history. Dana White said his shoulder's really effing bad. Very bad. He's going to have serious surgery that will require extensive rehab. Then I found another bit of news. I was thinking as soon as I saw this, I was like, okay then, who's Glover fighting for the belt? But then I find out that Glover Teixeira turned down both Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz. So that's really confusing to me. He turned them down. I'm sure they offered him Ankalaev first, so maybe he just turned down Ankalaev for the title fight. But that's very strange to me that he would turn him down. So in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong on this, maybe I'm right. I think Glover was coming into this fight injured as well, and now he realizes, hang on a second. Do I fight with this injury that I was willing to risk because it was going to be against Jiri Prochazka? Or do I sit out a little bit and know that if Jiri comes back, or once the winner of Blachowicz versus Ankalaev is crowned as the champion, I can get a title shot again anyway and have a little bit more time and to recover from whatever I'm dealing with. So I believe that maybe Glover Teixeira has a little bit of an injury as well that just isn't so bad, because otherwise why would he pass up on this opportunity? There's no reason for him to pass up on this opportunity. So I feel like maybe Glover's like, you know what, I'm kind of feeling a bit, my knee's a bit funny going into this fight anyway. Knowing that I'm going to get a title shot after the winner of Blachowicz Ankalaev anyway, I'll just sit out and come back when I'm a bit more healthy and have a better chance of winning it then. Who knows, maybe Blachowicz wins it, and that's a really good matchup for me, so I can just get that one back and get the championship belt again. Very, very sad situation now. Very sad situation. I immediately felt bad for Glover, but once I saw that he had turned down the fight for the belt, I was like, okay, he's probably injured as well. But still, absolutely terrible situation, man. We finally get a warrior, crazy, super entertaining champion with all the marketability in the light heavyweight division. He's out for a whole year. He's out for a whole year. Disaster. Absolute disaster, man. It couldn't be worse. And not only that, the way they're talking about this shoulder injury, it sounds like a kind of injury that you don't just immediately come back the same from. You know? This is the worst we've ever seen. It sounds like his shoulder's never going to be the same again. And that's what I'm worried about, because he had such potential to grow as a champion and be a dominant force, potentially. If he could get past Glover again, who's a bad matchup for him, which I think would be a massive test for him, I think he does a lot better against the Ankalaevs, the Rakics, the Jamal Hills, and even like the Jan Blachowicz of the light heavyweight division. And even like if someone was to move up from middleweight, he'd have a great chance against them as well. But he's going to be out for a whole year. It's very lucky that he's young for a light heavyweight. I mean, he isn't crazy young, but he is 30 years of age. So he's going to be coming back when he's 31. It's not that bad. Like, if he was like 32 and he's just got the belt, this would be a little bit worse, because I'd be like, man, he's in his prime. He's going to miss out on some prime years of his career. But I'm just hoping maybe this won't be a year. They'll immediately do the surgery. It will be an immediate success. He'll be back maybe in 9 months or something like that. But what I would say to do in the meantime in the light heavyweight division is probably, Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev for a belt. Respect to Jiri for vacating the belt, though, because they said it was his decision, and they weren't even going to do it. So that deserves some big respect from Jiri Prochazka. He's living by that Bushido code from the Book of the Five Rings. So he's vacated the belt. He said he didn't want to hold up the division and take away opportunities from all of the other contenders there. So that's fair. I think the main reason he did that was to give Glover a chance to win it. I'm sure he's not too pleased with the fact that Jan Blachowicz versus Jiri Prochazka winners going to be able to call themselves a champion, but respect to him for even vacating, because I'm sure they could have just done, an interim belt here and then had Jiri come back at some point next year towards the end for a fight as well. But yeah, that's that. And I guess we know what's going to happen now at light heavyweight. It seems pretty straightforward. We do Ankalaev versus Blachowicz in December. The winner takes on Glover Teixeira in May of next year, 5 months after. And then we have Jiri Prochazka come back in October, November, maybe the end of next year. A whole year of no Jiri. There are so many champions right now I'd rather have no year of. You know what I mean? Like, a whole year of not seeing them. There are so many champs where I wouldn't even mind if they sat out a year. But Jiri, the most entertaining fighter maybe on the roster, a whole year without him. Just when he got the belt. When it was about to start getting fun. There goes the conversation about Pereira moving up, or Adesanya, at any point. They're going to have to find some new contenders at middleweight because, jeez, they can't move up. We got too much to figure out in the light heavyweight division. Respect to Jiri for vacating. It's going to make the division a little bit smoother in the meantime. But I'll tell you who's going to be unhappy. If Jamal Hill beats Anthony Smith and another opponent, he's going to be real unhappy about this. If Rakic wins a fight and then beats another opponent, he's going to be real unhappy. I just had a protein shake, so I'm yakking it up as I'm speaking a little bit here. You know how it be. He's going to be a little bit unhappy about it as well. Pathetic. It's not pathetic, it's just annoying. I hate this. I hate that there's always something that happens. And you know what this puts into perspective? Aljo. I've seen a lot of comments about him. He's just sitting out for a year anyway. For no reason. Just because he feels like it. God, man. Respect to Jiri Prochazka for vacating the belt. It shows that he's got in his mind that no matter what, he's coming back to win it and become a champion again. Man, I really hope this isn't like a career... I really hope we're not going to see Jiri come back and... Oh, he's not throwing his left hand. You know what I mean? Something like that. Oh, hang on a second. Wait, did he just dislocate his arm in the middle of a fight? Like it's going to be a Dillashaw situation? Or an Ortega situation and he just has some weird injury? Oh, it'd be annoying. But, oh well, I guess that's that. Jiri Prochazka out for a year. Man. So Ankalaev's going to be a champ, in my opinion. I think he beats Jan Blachowicz. Maybe Blachowicz could win. Maybe he could. Who knows? But it's looking like we're going to see Ankalaev be a champ if he beats Blachowicz. And I guess Glover Teixeira can fight him. And that'd be an interesting matchup. But still, I think Ankalaev will beat Glover Teixeira. And then I guess Jiri will come back and fight Ankalaev at the end of next year. So there we go. The Cliff Dwellers do it again. They got another champ by some miraculous miracle. Man, this is annoying. Extensive rehab. Jiri Prochazka put out a statement and he said, I am very disappointed to announce that I will not be defending my belt at UFC 282. I was injured in training at Las Vegas while finishing my preparation for the title defense in... This was Strickland. Oh my God, if this was Sean Strickland that did this to him in a sparring session. I seen him training with Strickland recently. If this was Sean Strickland. And Ankalaev was training with him as well. I wonder if Ankalaev looked over and saw Jiri in pain and was like, yes, but I take belts now, you know? While finishing my preparation for my title defense in the UFC light heavyweight division, I injured my shoulder and surgery is required, which will put me out of action for at least 6 months. Okay, so that's not terrible, but he won't be able to like train for 6 months. So he's going to come back for another month after that and get ready and get used to it and then go into a training camp. So we're looking at 9 months. Knowing this information, I have decided after consulting with UFC management that due to this time constraint, I will not hold the light heavyweight division and will vacate the title. I will go for the UFC belt as soon as the doctors give me the green light to fight. I'm going to go for the belt. I'm going to get it no matter who currently holds it. It's always been the most important thing for me to put on the best performance and compare myself to the best. Let the best show no matter who's there now. It's a mistake from him. I'll be back in 6 months and I'll take the title whoever holds it. 6 months ain't bad. But we're still going to have to give Glover a title shot in the meantime. So maybe like 7, 8 months. You know what I mean? I apologize to my fans, friends, and family who bought tickets and made plans to come to Las Vegas to support me. It means a lot to me. I also want to apologize to Glover as well. Victory. But it wasn't him that... Glover turned down the fights. So, again, I reckon Glover was injured as well. What a sad situation. So if he was back in 8 months, he genuinely could have had an interim title made. So I guess he just knows that they're going to do Ankalaev, Blachowicz, and then Glover is going to fight for a belt afterwards. So he knows there's at least not going to be just one title fight at light heavyweight before he comes back. So he's vacating the belt to give them an opportunity. But yeah. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if this is USADA sticking him with too many needles. Maybe now he won't have to be tested once a day. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll start looking at John Jones a little bit now that we've got an in the works date for March for John Jones's return. And John Jones won't get 6 tests a year, whilst Jiri's getting 52. Or daily at this point, so 365 tests. Maybe now they'll lay off the needles because maybe they stuffed too many into his shoulder. I don't know where you saw the tests from. Maybe they ran out of veins in his thigh, ran out of veins in his forearm. They did the eyeball. They've used up all the veins there. And now they're looking to go for the shoulder. And they've messed it up. Like an acupuncture gone wrong situation. What a mess. I'm so sad about this. But what can we do? We just have to roll with the punches. And this is the big punch to UFC 282. We needed this washed. We needed this wiped over. Because now, and here's the annoying part about this as well. In some weird way, there's a good chance we never get to see Prochazka versus Teixeira too. And I kind of needed to see it. Because I thought Glover might have a chance of upsetting him in the rematch. If Glover was a bit more patient on top and took his time and didn't rush to get postured up and land big shots and just took it in the same way that he did the Jan Blachowicz fight where he was sort of like cranking on the head and slowly smothering him on the ground, not trying to do too much ground and pound and put him away. Now we might not get to see that rematch, and that might be a little bit of an asterisk in Jiri Prochazka's career moving forward. But hey, if he's not going to be out for too long, let's just get the title fights active at light heavyweight and churn out some big title fights. Jan Blachowicz versus Jiri Prochazka. Why is this hair in front of my face? Jesus. Anyway. Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev. Make it happen, and then immediately get Glover Teixeira in there, maybe on one of those March pay-per-view cards, maybe on the Jones versus Ngannou card. We can immediately turn around that fight and have it done there. Let's just get it done. Let's get it done and have Jiri back late next year. Why can't Aljo get put out for a year? Seriously. Why is it always the best, most fun champs that this stuff happens to? Figueiredo out for a year? No. Adesanya, well, he's fucking kicking people at range for 5 rounds. Why can't he be out for a year? Nope. Jiri Prochazka's out for a year. God, man. Whatever. Well, there you go. I need to get over it. Still happy days. We got some good fights coming up. And still, we've got a good card at UFC 282 because Darren Till versus Duplessis was on the prelims. And now I guess that'll just be on the main card. Or maybe they could put Derek Lewis versus Sergey Spivak on the main card. That sounds like the ultimate savior of that card. To keep it really good, Derek Lewis, Sergey Spivak on the main card. Sounds like a good plan. Moving on. See you later. Goodbye. I've said what I need to say. Sadness. Absolute sadness.